Track life.
Yo, what up, y'all? Trek Life Tuesdays going down. Hope y'all had a wonderful Father's Day weekend. I certainly did. Spent time with family and my little girls, and had a good time, had a great time actually. But Trek Life Tuesdays, we start the work week. Let's get into it real quick. It's real interesting, man. I was watching, is it Ambrosia for Heads? My man, Fish Star put this up, where they were talking about maybe, just maybe, Black Thought might be the greatest MC of all times. I actually don't get into that. Like I said, I think every top 5 list is wrong. Of course, people responded and said, well, every top 5 list is right. Whatever. It's wrong. I'm sticking with wrong because I feel like wrong. Nah, every top 5 list is iffy. It's all personal. So my man said, going back to my man Craig, my man Fish Star, he said that Black Thought was definitely probably top 5, but wasn't in his top 5. And that's fair, that can happen, right? So it got me to thinking about what I particularly like about MCs and what I value in the art of rhyming. And I believe that if this conversation were opened up to talking about what you like about rappers, then maybe it would be a little easier to deal with these conversations about who's the best and who's the worst, etc. I think one of the most major qualities for me is I'm not really a big fan of I don't want to say wasted wording because that kind of disses it, but lyrics without direction. I like when punchlines have life meaning to them. You looking at Ice Cube, for example, on Death Certificate when he was saying, what was the line? He said, always knew that I would clock G's, but welcome to McDonald's, may I take your order, please? Now, a lot of people was like, oh, that's basic, but it was profound in a sense because it took you from one contrast to the next. Now, there are plenty of even greater metaphors and similes that can fall into that category, but those are the type of artists that I like. So that's why artists like Mos Def, Blue, Ice Cube tend to fall into my top 5, a little heavier than artists like M, and your more battle rappy type artists. I'm not really a big fan. My favorite song from M is Stan, hands down. I thought he was just so profound lyrically and kept the story so tight that you couldn't argue that he's one of the best MCs ever. And that was that moment for me. Now all the other moments where it was kind of rapping on top of rapping, it was like, whoa, this is dope, but it wasn't really the moment that hit me. So I think one of the big discussions that we should more often have when we talk about rap is what qualities about an MC are dope, more than necessarily like before you start talking about who's particularly dope or who's doper to you. Moving on, with a lot of ums, by the way, I apologize for that, but moving on, happy birthday to me on Sunday, June 18th. I appreciate each and every happy birthday and Father's Day shout out, man. All of them meant something to me. It was, appreciated that you thought about me and for looking out. Made me feel good. That being said, I figured that on this Trek Life Tuesday, I should give you some wisdom. I am getting older. I should say, Trek, what have you learned in all these years? Have you learned anything? It's hard to say whether I've learned anything. I feel like I've learned less than I guess I should have, if that makes any sense. But anyhow, I spent a lot of time with family over the weekend and had a lot of time to evaluate where I was musically, where I am musically, and personally, and friends that I have around. I got a good chance to spend a lot of time with my friends. And one thing I can say that is for sure is find yourself around people that you can be the best version of yourself with. Not necessarily people that bring out the best in you. I know that's one thing that you actually should find, and find a good quality in friends is the friends that bring out the best in you, but that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I think friends that allow you to be yourself, and not highly judgmental, but will correct you when you're wrong. Will tell you like, hey man, that may not be the best way to go. They're not gonna hold you hostage over their opinions or your opinions, but you should experience at a certain point in life. In my 20s, it didn't matter as much. I didn't think about it as much because everything was fun all the time. But as I get older, I realize that you should experience some form of joy from your, those that you socialize with. You should experience some form of joy. You should be elated a lot of times. So find yourself around people that you can be the best version of yourself around. So the next one kind of gets a little serious, and you know, the judgment on Brother Castile is just, come on, man. I don't know when police brutality will end. I don't know if it'll ever end. It's been going on so long that we're ignoring the origin of it and trying to compartmentalize it into recent years of Black Lives Matter and Mike Brown. And the NRA is fighting heavily, or has fought heavily, for the rights of American citizens to carry guns. I am a believer in that right. I do believe there should be some contingencies. It shouldn't be all willy-nilly, and I know it's not entirely, but just to let you know where I stand. But where are you now, NRA? Where are you now, people who fought so heavy and fight so heavy for the rights of gun owners? Where are you right now? It would be really interesting to see you. Like I've said in past episodes, it's not about Black people standing up for this. We've stood up constantly. We've sang "We Shall Overcome." We've marched in streets. We've stopped traffic. We've, you know, had leadership shot. We've had people that just said, look, man, we just want peace. We've had towns, businesses, houses, churches burned, babies, children burned up in houses. We've had a lot of the things that a lot of people who come from the third world experienced in their countries that they fled from, those that did flee due to terror from their government, has been experienced by the Black American, and it's not discussed in that manner. I understand that this feels like, oh, don't talk about it like that to some people, but you gotta discuss it that way. But it's about the rest of y'all standing up. It's about the rest of y'all saying, look, and not just with Black people, but this is particularly about a Black man in front of his child, in front of a young lady, in front of his girlfriend. When are you gonna stop being quiet about this? When are you gonna say on your little timeline real quick, at the very least, look, that was wrong? I think never. And I think you're gonna keep taking culturally, but keep never, ever, ever looking at those that you take from as valuable. And that's painful to watch. But maybe one day, man, maybe one day you won't be a punk. And maybe one day you'll say something. It's Trek Like Tuesdays, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your week. Pretty excited about the Wednesday banger. And I'm very excited to grow 1 year older. So we're gonna keep it moving, man. I'm gonna see y'all next Tuesday. Peace.
Yo, we gotta be out, y'all. Peace, y'all. But we will be sure to return, y'all. Shout it out, y'all. Peace, y'all.